President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson exchanged views in a phone call on Tuesday regarding means to promote trade, investment, health and security cooperation between the two countries, in addition to the efforts to combat terrorism. The call also touched upon the latest developments and a number of issues of common interest, including the latest developments in Libya and the Palestinian cause, in addition to the developments in the dispute caused by the Ethiopian dam. Concerning the dam issue, al-Sisi reiterated Egypt's position based on the country's historical rights to the Nile waters and the importance of its water security. He also reiterated his call upon the international community to push negotiations with Ethiopia and Sudan to reach a comprehensive, just and legally binding agreement on the filling and operation rules of the dam. Prime Minister Johnson expressed his support for the efforts to resume the negotiations in order to reach a just solution to the decade-old issue. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi performed prayers of Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice, at Malik al-Mulk Mosque in the Heritage area in the New Alamein city on Tuesday. Later, the president held a meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and a number of ministers and high-ranking officials where they reviewed the undergoing plan to develop the northwest sector. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi performed prayers of Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of Sacrifice, at Malik al-Mulk Mosque in the Heritage area of the New Alamein city on Tuesday morning. The prayers were attended by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Defense Mohammed Zaki, Chief of Staff Mohammed Farid, in addition to a number of ministers and senior officials. The Eid sermon, which was entitled Trust in God, was delivered by Sayyid Abdel Bari. Following the Eid prayers, President al-Sisi presided over a meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and a number of ministers, as well as high-ranking officials, where they reviewed the undergoing plan to develop the northwest sector. The President instructed to finalize the current national projects in due time nationwide and gave his directives to develop the road network in a bid to ease traffic jamming. The head of state listened to a briefing by Minister of Housing Asim al-Ghazzar on the most important projects being currently implemented in the New Alamein city, including the City of the Arts and Culture. During the meeting, the President also reviewed a number of undergoing developmental projects in Alexandria related to land usage. Earlier in a tweet, President al-Sisi greeted Egyptian people and the Muslim world on Eid al-Adha, saying the occasion represents noble meanings such as sacrifice and wishing welfare and prosperity for the whole Muslim nation. The President also exchanged Eid al-Adha greetings with Arab leaders. He had phone calls with Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Nawaf al-Ahmad al-Jaber al-Sabah, Iraqi President Burham Saleh, Tunisian President Qais Said, Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune, and Qatar's Prince Tamim bin Hamad. During his phone conversation with Emir of Kuwait, President al-Sisi wished prosperity and progress for the brotherly state. For his part, the Kuwaiti Emir expressed his appreciation to the gesture, wishing peace and stability for Egypt. During his phone talks with the Iraqi President Burham Saleh and Prime Minister Mustafa Kadhimi, President al-Sisi wished Iraq security, peace and stability. Earlier, President al-Sisi received a phone call from Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Egyptians were celebrating Eid al-Adha on Tuesday with prayers at Cairo's Al-Azhar Mosque. The Feast of Sacrifice commemorates Prophet Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail.
Egyptians were celebrating Eid al-Adha on Tuesday with prayers at Cairo's Al-Azhar Mosque. The holiday, known as the Feast of Sacrifice, commemorates Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail. The act of worship marks Eid al-Adha, or the Feast of the Sacrifice. Tight rows of men and women perform ritual prayers, an important part of the Muslim holiday. Some were wearing masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19. After praying, families enjoyed the festival atmosphere, buying balloons for their children. Muslims usually sacrifice a goat, sheep, cow, or a camel for the holiday, donating most of the meat to the poor. Meanwhile, crowds of Muslim worshippers gathered at Al-Aqsa compound in Jerusalem early Tuesday to take part in the prayers marking the start of Eid al-Adha. The Islamic Waqf in Jerusalem said more than 100,000 people attended the Eid prayers. The site, home of the golden topped dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, is considered the third holiest in Islam. Many children in Gaza mark the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha surrounded by rubble. People are still living amid rubble and are struggling to feel the Eid spirit. Neighborhood children played on a nearby playground. In Ramallah, residents took to the shopping as they made their preparations for Eid al-Adha. Because of the pandemic, how much people get to celebrate the festive occasion will vary from country to country. The streets of Ramallah were crowded with shoppers prepared to celebrate Eid al-Adha holiday. Shoppers were buying meat, sweets, and fruit for the family and friends before the holiday, which is just around the corner. Ramallah sweet shop owner says this Eid al-Adha does not have the same feel as previous holidays because people are still preoccupied with the virus. The meat of the sacrificed animals is shared among family and friends and poor people who cannot afford to sacrifice animals. In Saudi Arabia, thousands of Muslim pilgrims threw 7 stones on Satan's pillar in Mina on Tuesday in a symbolic rejection of temptation as the Hajj pilgrimage continued.